Well, hi there and welcome. Thanks for attending the Building Construction Management Program webinar. My name is Emily Fox. I'm the Virtual Learning Admission Counselor here at HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College. I hope that you're able to hear me. Just so you do know, as a participant, you do not have microphone access, but you are able to interact using the chat box there on the right-hand side. So any questions you have throughout the presentation or comments, please feel free to use the chat box there. So today you'll have the opportunity to learn about the Building Construction Management Associate degree at HACC, which will be offered fully online starting in fall 2016. And an associate degree in Building Construction Management leads to one of the fastest growing, high paying careers that you can get with an associate degree. And you'll hear all about that today. Plus, HACC is one of the only schools in the nation to offer this program fully online and the only community college in Pennsylvania to provide the opportunity to complete the program online in 2 years. HACC does have 5 campus locations in the central Pennsylvania area. We have campus locations in Gettysburg, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Lebanon, and York, and then of course online, which can be done essentially from anywhere in the world. As I mentioned, the program will be offered fully online starting next fall. With me today, I'm thrilled to have 2 other presenters. I have Kazim Darcy and Elizabeth Hager joining me. Kazim is HACC's Department Chair and Senior Professor of Architecture and Architectural Technology at HACC. He's a registered architect and maintains a small architectural practice doing primarily pro bono type of work. And we also have Elizabeth Hager with us today. Elizabeth is an adjunct faculty member in architecture and architectural technology here at HACC. She has a master's in architecture from Lawrence Technical University, where she completed the program online for the most part. So she does understand what it's like to be an online student, and she applies that experience to the courses that she teaches. Plus, in her spare time, she enjoys working on small design type of projects. So together, Kazim and Elizabeth, they have a lot of experience and they're respected individuals within their field who are passionate about helping students learn and succeed. So you're really in for a treat today hearing from Kazim and Elizabeth. And at this time, I'd like to pass it over to Kazim, who will be starting off and talking about what construction management really is.
Hello. And welcome. I will thank you for taking the time to listen to us in the webinar to learn more about construction business management. So, as was indicated, I am an architect by training, and as an architect, what I do is I design buildings. So, a client comes to me and tells me I want a mall, the shopping mall, or a church, or a house. I'm able to take the requirements and I'm able to give them drawings, what the building is going to look like. Once that is done, my job is essentially over, and I will then turn over the project to be built by a building contractor. But the building contractor's job is primarily to get all the people who are actually going to do the building itself. So he is going to get the masons, the plumbers, the carpenters, the people who pour the concrete, the people who do the electricity in the house, do all the wiring. And somebody has to coordinate all the tasks that need to be done in putting a building together. So essentially, we have what is called construction management. That the building has been completed, it's been designed, now it has to be built. But managing the construction process, how does it get from the ground up, is the job of the construction manager. So as you can see, the construction manager does a lot of things. The construction manager does the scheduling. So what does the scheduling mean? So if you think about a building, the first thing that needs to be done is obviously excavation. Among the first things that needs to be done is the excavation. So when you are excavating the ground, obviously you need machines to excavate the ground. You need a labor force that understands how to use those machines. You need shovels, etc., to do that work. So you would schedule that in preparing a construction schedule. So this building will take 6 months to build. On the first week, we need people who are going to do all the labor involved with the excavation. So you're not going to schedule this is more likely than not, somebody who's going to do the painting once the entire building is completed, because it doesn't make sense for the painter to be there at the beginning. So that is essentially what the scheduling involves, and what that means is that you need to understand the construction, this process from the beginning, from the time the foundation is laid all the way up to when the building is finally completed and an occupancy permit issued by the local, the government, and given to the owner. So the construction manager does that. The construction manager also does what is called safety planning. Obviously, safety is a big deal. Construction can be hazardous. If you have the scaffolding, people are going to be up on the scaffolds. You want to make sure that that scaffolding is done correctly, nobody falls down, and that we follow OSHA guidelines. OSHA stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Act, and that piece of legislation basically it governs safety in the workplace. So that has to be thought out ahead of time, and so construction manager also figures out how safe is the construction going to be, because if, God forbid, that something happens and somebody falls, gets injured, loses their life, there is going to be an inquiry. And the first thing that the inquiry will ask for is, where is the safety plan? What precautions did you take? The other thing that needs to be done is estimating, figuring out how much the building is actually going to be it is going to cost, all right? So typically the construction manager, he looks at the floor plans and the drawings that the architect made, says, all right, this building, I will need 80,000 bricks, and I know that each brick costs this much, and it's going to cost this much to lay each brick, and therefore the total cost for just the brickwork is going to be this much. I know that this building needs to have a roof, and we figure out what the components of the roof are, how much it's going to cost, both in terms of material and labor. And we go on into the budgeting aspect of helping the contractor figure out what the budgets need to be, what is the cash flow, when does the money need to be able to do a particular part of the work. So for example, if we're doing, let's say, pouring concrete, that requires a lot of, it's in capital, and so the building contractor probably doesn't have, $1 million just kind of lying around, so they have to figure out how they're going to get the money, at what point in the construction process they're going to need the $1 million in order to be able to do the concrete, and what point then can they expect reimbursement from the owner, because the owner will only pay once the work is done. All right, so that plus the contract administration, they are what I call the change orders, the regulations that need to be followed. The construction manager is aware of all those, and is then able, because of his training, is able to do that. So we have a lot more, but we don't have all the time to talk about all the details, but there's a lot more than that kind of goes into putting a building together. And while a background in construction is helpful, it is not necessary, because almost everything that you need to learn, you are going to learn in this program over the 2 years that it's going to take you to complete this associate's degree. And between that plus your the job that you are going to get in the industry will prepare you to then become an excellent construction manager. So why should you consider a career in construction? The first thing is that employment is increasing. You may recall that as a country, we've been coming out of the recession, which was in 2008. The unemployment rate today is 5.1%, and part of why the unemployment rate is only 5.1% is because there are jobs, tons of jobs. And there was a lot of pent-up demand for the construction that is now being built. And when I talk to my distant colleagues in the architectural profession, almost all of them are busy, very, very busy, and they have a lot of work. When I talk to contractors, they are all very, very busy. And therefore, I meet with contractors and architects, all they are telling me is how much work they have, and they don't have enough people in every aspect. So the contractor might need somebody who knows how to do drywall, or knows how to paint, or knows this in carpentry. There is a high need for that. There's a high need for the manager. They need the construction managers. And part of what is this in driving that is that the construction sector in the United States is about 6% of the gross domestic product, the GDP. 6% translates to around 1.8 trillion with a T dollars per year that is spent on construction. That's a lot of construction going on nationwide. So if you think of all the road construction that are sort of all around us, buildings, bridges, infrastructure, all these require some kind of construction management to manage the actual construction process. And there are so many jobs right now, and we anticipate for the near future, the next 5-10 years, that the demand is going to be high, and that there are going to be more jobs than there are people to actually fulfill the requirements of the job. So, because there's so much demand for construction managers, you can expect to earn about $70,000 after 10 years. Now, I showed this particular slide to a group of contractors about a month ago, and they all told me that $70,000, that figure that is shown on the slide, $70,000, was wrong. And I said, why so? They said, well, we don't pay $70,000 after 10 years. We typically pay $70,000 after 5 years because there is so much demand. They aren't enough, and somebody with a degree plus 3-4 years experience is going to be poached, is going to get job offers from elsewhere. So if we do not increase the pay, they're going to move on, and we're going to lose somebody who has the experience. So there are very, very few jobs that will pay that kind of money with just an associate's degree. So the U.S. Labor Department, as you can see, the statistic here is that a construction manager will make around $82,000, and what we're talking, this is about a median pay. So you'll find that that number is mostly people who have a bachelor's degree in construction management, and we'll be they're talking about pathways from here, from the associate's degree into the bachelor's degree. But this gives you an idea of what these salaries are and what you can expect with some experience and the background in construction management. So, as I had indicated earlier, what are the tasks of a construction manager? And you can see here what a construction manager can do is to figure out what the quantities are. How many bricks are there? How many cubic yards of concrete? How many board feet of lumber? How many square feet of roofing material? Those are figures we need to know ahead of time so that we can go out and buy that equipment and the equipment and the materials in order to build a building. So as the construction manager, one of your jobs could be just doing the takeoffs. Somebody could be figuring out what the estimates are. So we know that we have 10,000 cubic yards of concrete. What is the going rate of this in concrete? How much is it going to cost us to pour the concrete and to smooth it out and to make a floor? And so an estimator figures this out, and this is a critical job because obviously the contractor who's going to build a building needs to have accurate estimates, because the contractor more likely than not is not going to have 15, 20, 25 million dollars lying around in the bank. The building contractor has to go borrow money from the bank, get that $15 million, and he needs to buy just the exact amount, no more, no less. All right, just enough to do the job because it's going to cost him money that he is borrowing at 4 or 5% interest, and that costs money to borrow money. So, as I indicated earlier, you can be the person doing all the schedules, kind of laying out when the construction is going to happen. A manager who basically manages the guy who does the quantity takeoff, who does the estimating, because on a large construction project, you know, if you're looking at a construction project, at a building costing $50–60 million, you're going to have a number of people working in the construction management, and each one of you will have a specific task. So the construction manager could be the one who's overseeing all of you guys and telling you, all right, you're doing the quantity takeoffs today, you're doing the estimates tomorrow, and so on and so forth. As a construction manager, you could also get a job as a codes inspectors, because every building that is designed by the architect must meet code requirements. An example of a code requirement would be, let's say you are in a room in a building. The code will determine what is the maximum distance you can walk to the nearest exit, right? It may be 100 feet. So obviously the building has to be built so that the person who is occupying the building, if there's a fire, that person can leave and know that within 100 feet there is an exit to the outside. All right, so you have opportunities to become a code inspector if you want to, because you have a background in construction, you understand drawings, you understand how things are put together, and you can make a determination once the building is built, whether that building meets all the code requirements. Or you can be a construction supervisor. So as I had indicated earlier, you're going to have masons on the job site, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and so on and so forth. Somebody needs to manage all their work, and a construction supervisor could do that. So these are some of the titles that we see in advertisements such as this monster.com. They advertise for very specific tasks that somebody who's got a degree in construction management can do because you're trained to do that. So the associate's degree, as you can see, it's an AAS, meaning an associate in applied science. These are the jobs that you are able to take. So when you look at the jobs that you're prepared to apply for, obviously I'm making reference to the previous slide. We have courses in codes, we have other courses in estimating, and these are the courses that essentially prepare you for jobs as listed on the slide. So once you finish the associate's degree here, if you choose to, you can transfer directly to Bloomsburg University. We have an agreement with Bloomsburg University that somebody completing an associate's degree will automatically get 60 credits of the 120 credits needed to get a bachelor's degree, and then you can complete the other 60 credits at Bloomsburg University. You do not have to go to Bloomsburg, which, as most of you know, is 90 miles north of Harrisburg. All those classes at the third year, at the junior and the senior level are going to be offered in Harrisburg, either at HACC or at the Dixon University Center in Harrisburg. And so if somebody does not want to leave central Pennsylvania but still get a bachelor's degree from a respected school, Bloomsburg University is the place to go to. We're also in discussions at this point, because the program is still fairly new, we are in discussion with a number of schools so that our students, once they finish the associate's degree, can transfer seamlessly without any loss of credits to some others, the schools. So the schools that do come to mind are, for example, Penn College of Technology in Williamsport. We have a very good working relationship with them, and they have taken our students in the past, and they will, I'm sure, be happy to take our students once they finish the 2 years at HACC. So, what are the options here if you do decide that you want to come to HACC? You can take the certificate, which is 30 credits, or you can take the associate's degree, which is 65 the credits. And once you decide that you want to come to HACC, once you apply, you'll have an advisor advising you what those courses are.
Great, thank you, Kazim. You painted a very clear picture of what it's like to have a career within the building construction management area, and a brief over to Elizabeth Hager, and she'll be talking even more in depth about the Building Construction Management Associate degree here at HACC. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Emily. As we've already mentioned, the Building Construction Management program will be offered entirely online beginning next fall. Now, one of the major advantages of online learning is the flexible schedule. And while there are weekly due dates, you can decide when it works best for you to study. You don't have to rush to class after work, so you'll save time and money since you don't have to commute to school. You can study late at night, early in the morning, in the middle of the day, whatever works best for your schedule, as long as you have internet access, of course. Most classes include weekly videos, reading assignments, discussions, homework assignments, and quizzes. And you can access all of this material and participate in online discussions with your classmates and instructor 24/7. Obviously, they won't be all on at the same time, but you can participate anytime you want. And keep in mind, though, that with the flexible schedule comes more responsibility for planning your study schedule. As a former online student myself, I found that creating a weekly routine and dedicating time for each class was a very important ingredient for my success. So successful online students have to develop effective time management skills. The Building Construction Management curriculum has been designed to the standards of the American Council on Construction Education. The ACCE provides standards that ensure that a student in any accredited construction management program will receive a quality education. And this also makes it easier for a student to transfer to a four-year school if he or she desires. And Harrisburg Area Community College itself is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. This is the same accrediting agency that accredits Penn State, Millersville, Temple, Bloomsburg, etc. And this is important because it ensures that the college as a whole is focused on providing a quality education as its primary goal. And it's also very important because most senior institutions will only accept transfer credits from accredited schools. So you want to make sure that you look at the accreditation. Now this is an overview of the courses in the Building Construction Management Associate's Degree Program. This list doesn't include the general education courses, but the Associate Degree Program does include courses in English, Speech, Phys Ed, Humanities, Math, and Science. The courses listed here are the core of the BCM program. Students will learn about construction as well as management of the construction process, because you can't really manage a process that you don't understand. So you have to understand how construction happens, which is what Kazim was talking about earlier. The construction print reading class is a foundational class. This is what the whole construction process is based on. So reading the prints is the first step. Codes and safety are also an important concept for everyone in construction to understand, since building codes affect very minute details and deficiencies are not acceptable. Sustainable architecture is becoming increasingly important since the number of green buildings is rapidly expanding, and an understanding of these concepts is critical for anyone who wants to be a part of these projects. The AutoCAD course is an introduction to architectural drawing, as well as the use of a CAD system and building information management, or BIM. As digital technology becomes a bigger and bigger part of construction projects, it's very important for students to understand how to navigate both a CAD document and a BIM model. It doesn't want to be a foreign language. The importance of understanding construction materials and methods cannot be overstated. This is a foundation for any understanding of construction and the construction process. And I think because he mentioned site planning before when he was talking about excavation, this course discusses a lot of that. It teaches students how to read a contour drawing and introduces students to the processes by which land is altered to create a building site. Environmental control systems may be sometimes a relatively invisible part of a building, but these systems are critical to the health and well-being of occupants, and this includes heating, ventilation, cooling, lighting, plumbing, electricity, etc. All of those things have to go someplace in the building, and a building construction manager has to coordinate all of that. Structural concepts for construction introduces students to basic structural principles that will enable them to understand the structural drawings that they'll see in any construction project. And it will also help them to recognize structural problems on the site and hopefully take care of that before it becomes a major issue. And then, as in every field, there's always a need for understanding legal documents. And in construction, this is critical since contracts spell out who will do what work, for how much money, and on what timeline. This is explored in the construction contracts and related law class. And then estimating, planning, scheduling, and project administration are critical elements of the construction process. And Kazim discussed this a lot before. Before any material or workers arrive at a job site, the job has to be estimated and scheduled. And then once construction begins, the project management and project administration become key functions in keeping the project on schedule and on budget. So we have classes for each one of these areas. So all the courses I just described are designed to meet the learning outcomes you see on this slide as well as the next slide. And I'm not going to read them all for you, but I do suggest you visit the program webpage at hacc.edu/BCM and check out the learning outcomes. These were developed based on the American Council on Construction Education's guidelines. So I think Kazim is going to talk to us about who the BCM student is.
Yes, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for talking about the courses more in depth and just the program here at HACC. And you're exactly right. Kazim will be continuing the program on talking about who is a BCM student.
So the typical profile of a BCM student is really anybody who is interested in construction. If you're in high school and you're looking for a career where you are almost guaranteed, because there is no such thing as completely guaranteed, but if there is one, building construction management will almost guarantee you a job for the rest of your life, because there's always going to be need for construction, there's always going to be need for construction management. If you're looking for a career change, you've been doing something else and you think this might interest you, you are welcome. If you were recently in high school and you've been trying to find your way in life, looking at other opportunities, do consider this. If you are a tradesperson, meaning that you are a carpenter or a mason or a plumber or an electrician, and now you want to start your own business in construction, maybe building houses, building office buildings, building whatever, this is a program for you, because it gives you a lot more than just knowing your particular trade. It shows you the management process, the scheduling process, the estimating process. Those are all skills and knowledge that you absolutely need in order to successfully run a construction business. And if you're looking to move up into a management position, and let's say maybe you have construction background, maybe you are in the management field, but you don't have the credentials, you don't have an associate's degree, you don't have a bachelor's degree, it might hold you back in your place of employment. So this is a very good program to start, because as you can imagine, if you already have a job, you cannot give up your job to come to school. And therefore, you can do this program online. You can go to work, finish your work the whole day, and take classes in the evening, do all the studying in the evening. And nothing says that you have to finish the program in 2 years. You can pace yourself, because we are going to be offering these courses year-round. All right, we have fall classes, spring classes, summer classes, and you can take classes whenever your schedule allows you to do so. So this is really geared towards a high school student. If you are a high school student and you want to try out the building construction management program, this is the perfect opportunity, because all those classes that are listed here, the print reading, the AutoCAD, the construction materials and methods, codes and safety and sustainable architecture, are offered online. So if you're a high school student in the 11th grade, what you might want to do is talk to your high school guidance counselor, and you can apply to HACC to be admitted to HACC as what is called a dual admit student. Meaning you are in the high school in the 11th grade and you are taking college classes. And you can take the entire, all these courses in your last, the semester of the 11th grade, and then the 2 semesters in your 12th grade. And at the end of it, you will be up 18 credits. So your workload now, when you come to HACC, is reduced considerably. And you just have to finish the remainder of the 65 the credits that is needed for the BCM program. So as a high school student, you don't have to have any prerequisites for those 2 classes, the GTEC 110 and the CAD 1 and the CAD 156. There is no placement testing. Once you sign up as a student, you can register for classes, and you can take classes as soon as the semester starts. So if you're a high school student listening to this, registration begins on November 9th, which is in about 10 days. And classes begin on January 19th next year, 2016. And you can take 2 classes, be well on your way to getting a degree while you are in high school. And that way, you are exploring this career opportunity. If you like the drawing part, if you like the print reading class, then this career is for you. And if you don't like it, if you didn't enjoy it, you've already taken 2 classes and you can always move and try something else. So the professors that we have in the program are myself, as was indicated earlier. I am a licensed architect in the state of Pennsylvania. And my colleagues are Sari Bailey, who is another architect. And she's been teaching for us and has got a master's degree in architecture, a lot of background and experience in the design and construction of buildings. Randy Buffington is a construction manager. His focus was actually construction management, and his degrees are in construction management. So he's the one who'll be teaching more of the building construction management as in classes. The one on project administration, construction supervision, estimating. Those are the kind of classes that he'll be teaching. Elizabeth is my co-presenter, and she's already told you about her background. And we have Jerry Pisarczyk, who is a construction attorney. So he is a lawyer. That's his day job, but he teaches construction contracts and law at Penn State, up in State College, as well as teaches here. So you have a choice. You can go to Penn State and hear hear him talk at a much higher rate, or you can come to HACC and get the exact same class. So he tells you what the contracts are, what kind of problems to avoid so that you don't get sued, and what are the things that you need to understand as far as the law is concerned, so that any construction of the project proceeds very smoothly. So, how much does it cost to attend HACC? The figures that we are giving you are different, as you can see, because if you are an out-of-state student, it's going to cost you about $9,000 per year. Now, this includes tuition plus fees, whatever fees we have at HACC. We have things like technology fees, student fees. Those are all included in that cost of $298. If you are in the state of Pennsylvania, you're going to be paying $250 per credit hour. That translates to about $7,500 a year, full-time. And if you are from around Harrisburg and you're from one of the 22 sponsoring school districts, you're going to be paying about $6,000 per year, or about $206.50 per the credit hour. The best deal is reserved for the high school students taking the exact same course, and they're paying $100 per credit, meaning that for one 3-credit course, the GTech 110, the construction print reading, you're going to pay $300. For the AutoCAD, you're going to be paying $300. So you can finish 18 credits in high school, earn 18 college credits, and you've only spent $1,800 to get those 18 credits. It's an incredible bargain for high school students.
You're absolutely right, Kazim. So we have something for everybody here, regardless of your age. This program may be for you. Thank you, Kazim. If you think this program's for you and you would like to become a future student here at HACC, I'd like to run through the steps to admissions. The first step is to apply online, and it's free to apply online at hacc.edu. From there, we do recommend that students look into their financial aid options by going to fafsa.gov, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. We encourage you to look into all different options. We do have financial aid representatives here at HACC that can answer any questions that you may have in relation to financial aid. From there, our students go through placement testing. Placement testing tests students in the areas of math, reading, and writing. It's not timed. It usually takes about 2 hours to go through it, and students can do placement testing on campus or online. It's not pass or fail. It's really just to determine what would be the best class for you to start at. After placement testing, our students go through new student orientation, and we do encourage students to attend the new student orientation on any one of our campuses. If you're not able to make it on a campus, we do offer the new student orientation online, although we do encourage you to make it on a campus. And from there, students register for classes with an advisor. If you're a virtual learning student here at HACC and you're doing the fully online program, you'll be working very closely with Gina Bowers-Miller, and her email address is provided here on the slide. Also, students at HACC have many resources and services available to them. We do have some resources and services specific to online students, but if you happen to be an online student that lives close to one of our 5 campus locations in central Pennsylvania, you're welcome to come on campus and use any of our resources and services there too. So we do have many different resources. I'll go through some of them, but please know this is not all of our resources that we do have available. So one of our resources is tutoring, which can be done on campus or online through a program called Smart Thinking. And one thing that's great about our tutoring, besides the fact that you can get the help that you may need, is that it's available 24/7. So with online learning, Kazim mentioned you may be working all day and then fitting your class in the evening. With Smart Thinking, which is available 24/7, you can get that tutoring at 2 a.m. or if you're in a different time zone, you can get it at the time that works for you. Counseling and advising is also available to students. Like I said, most students would be working with Gina Bowers-Miller if you're taking fully online classes. Career Services is available here at HACC. Career Services, they can help you put together a resume, practice interviewing so that you're prepared to land a job or an internship. And they also assist with making connections and potentially landing you a job or internship. You know, they can't do the work for you, but they will do everything to prepare you and give you the correct network to land you that job. At HACC, we do also have an honor society, Phi Theta Kappa. We have sports teams, basketball, cross country, golf, soccer, and volleyball. We're also very vet friendly, so if you're a veteran involved with the military, we are very military friendly here at HACC. We're the second highest institution with veteran attendance in Pennsylvania. Students also have the opportunity to study abroad. We have students that have gone to Costa Rica, England, Hawaii, Zambia, all throughout the world. They're able to pursue their class while they're in a different country. We have a bookstore on campus and online. And 2 other resources that I'll mention specifically on this webinar today. One that's specific to online students within the learning management system. So you would go online to our learning management system called Brightspace by Desire to Learn if you're an online student here at HACC. Within Brightspace by Desire to Learn is a resource called the Student Resource Center and Lounge. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a lounge, it's a resource center, so if you have any questions or if you have any comments, you can post it there. There are other students, staff, faculty that monitor that center and will respond very promptly to whatever your question or comment may be. One other thing I'll mention, iTunes U courses and collections. It's free supplemental material that's available through iTunes. You don't get any college credit for it, but it is a great way to supplement your studies, and quite a few HACC professors have their iTunes U courses and collections out there. many other resources and services available to you, but that gives you a little snapshot of what we have to offer here at HACC. You've received a lot of information about HACC and especially regarding the Building Construction Management Program. Our contact information is listed here on this slide. You'll see Kazim, myself, Emily, you heard from Elizabeth earlier, as well as a phone number and the web page, which was referenced earlier in this webinar. I encourage you to check that out. There's a lot of information on there. I do want to open it up for any questions at this point. Feel free to type it in the chat box there. And if you don't have any questions now, you do have a way to contact us with our email that's provided there on the slide or phone. And Elizabeth or Kazim, if either of you have anything to add, feel free to add it now too, while students may be typing in any questions that they may have. It doesn't look like there's any questions, and like I said, feel free to reach out to us if you do think of any questions down the road. We're here to help you. We want you to be successful, and I hope that you did find this Building Construction Management webinar to be helpful. I know that I learned a lot watching it from Kazim and from Elizabeth, so thank you, Kazim and Elizabeth, for participating today, and thank you for attending today. If there are no further questions, you're welcome to leave at any point, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for attending.